And we back. What's good, homies? Okay, so what are we doing today in today's video? Today's video is gonna be another vent video. I know you guys love videos of me venting because I try to make it funny because what we talk about here is sometimes funny. You know, some people are just so damn stupid. Action! Sorry about the beard too. I started laser, so I can't like shave for a bit. So, you know, we're just rocking a beard for a bit. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sam Downey here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at SamDowney44. Also, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. So that's youtube.com/SamDowney. I'm posting videos here all the time about like trans stuff, non-binary stuff. Yeah, music. Oh yeah, also check out my new single, I Got What I Asked For, by Half Girlfriend. Also got another single coming out soon, so stay tuned for that as well. But today's video is going to be on something else. It's not on music. It's on things you shouldn't say to a non-binary person. So, there are a lot of things that you shouldn't say to a non-binary person. But we're going to be going over a couple today, and I'm going to explain the reasoning why they're stupid, and why you shouldn't say them because they make no sense. Yeah, I've heard all of these before, and, you know, I've heard them a lot of times. A lot of times I've heard a lot of these things. So we're going to be going over a couple of these. The first one. This one is famous. Like, this is a famous line that people love to use that are allies, but they're not. I don't care if you're a insert random object. I don't care if you're a jackhammer. I don't care if you're a helicopter. I don't care if you're a pig. I don't care if you're a dog. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing in one sentence, and that will debunk this stupid thing that people say to non-binary people. Non-binary people are humans. Nobody said we weren't humans. Nobody has ever said, oh, I'm non-binary, like, I'm not a human, like, I'm a different species, like, no, I'm not a human. No, everybody who is non-binary is still a human. It's nothing to do with, like, oh, I'm not a human. So saying this crap like, oh, I don't care if you're a race car. I'm not a fucking race car, dude. Like, I'm not. I'm a human. I don't understand why people say this and think that it's, like, a good thing to say. Because they'll say, like, oh, yeah, I don't care if you're this thing. Like, you know, you can be whatever you want. It's like, I'm a human still. Like, stop saying that. Like, stop comparing me to someone who would think that they're, you know, think they're, like, an object or something like that. Like, that's a whole different thing. That has nothing to do with being non-binary. Obviously, there might be some people in this world that do think that they're, like, certain objects and like that, but that's not gender identity. Gender identity is a whole different thing. Gender identity is how you are perceived in society. Sex is what you were born as. That's it. You know, that's it. So saying these things like, oh yeah, I don't care if you're a jackhammer, I don't care if you're, you know, this, that, whatever. It's like, we're still humans. That's what it is. We're still humans. So stop saying this to non-binary people. I know there's so many people out there that say this too. I've heard this one so many times, like honestly, so many times. And I'm just kind of tired of it. Another one is using the word theys. So I've heard this one a lot too. So this is really, people don't understand how to use they, them pronouns. I think they're not doing it like intentionally. They just like don't understand it. The way that I will say it as, using they, them pronouns singular and plural, it's the exact same terminology. Think of it like this. If this makes it easier, literally if someone uses they, them pronouns and you don't understand it for one single person, just think that they're two people. It works exactly the same. When it comes to that theys thing, I've heard this a lot, you know, like, that belongs to theys. They so cute. No, it's they're so cute. That belongs to them. Don't like try and almost like, I feel like I've heard this a lot just because I think a lot of people are confused. Theys is not a word. They with an S. That is not a word. You need to use their or them. It's the same concept as talking about like a group of people, right? They, them singular and they, them plural is the same thing. Same kind of like English terminology, right? So that's something to practice if you have been doing that before. This one is like different. I'm not as like triggered. I'm not like as annoyed about this one. Like, I understand some people just don't really understand the concept, but yeah, using the term like the word theys is not a word. Another one. I just don't understand why we need so many labels. Like, just be yourself. So I've heard this term a lot too. I don't understand why we need so many labels. Just be yourself. You literally said two opposite things. People are being themselves by using the label that they identify with. That's being yourself. I don't understand what? Like, they're being themselves by labeling themselves as these labels. The other concept is, I think a lot of people get a lot what they like to bring about this is it's a big debate in like, you know, students and like children and stuff, and like in classrooms is people are saying that teachers are teaching like all the 100 genders or something to get people like mad or like scared about this whole epidemic, right? And I can tell you for a fact, kids are only learning the basic terms: non-binary, transgender, and, you know, trans man, trans woman, whatever, right? They're not learning about these like hundreds of genders. I think it's more. Some kids, even if they're cis, might be interested in the topic and they're gonna do their own research, and then they go to their parents and they'll tell them all this stuff, and then the parents are like, what? How do you know all this? Well, we learned this term in school and then I looked it up online. Oh my God, you're teaching all this stuff to kids. It's so bad. Like, what's bad about a kid being smart? Actually, what's bad about a kid being smart and knowing things? Oh wow, your kid knows knowledge about the LGBT community. That's so bad. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's the same concept as like, you know, your kid learning math in school and then going online and learning about like multiplication stuff and like division before they learn it in school. Your kid's smart. That's the same concept. It's basically they're learning about the basics in school, and then maybe they'll go online and research more about what they like. I used to do it as well when I was a kid. I remember we learned about US history in school, and I thought it was really interesting. So I went online and I started learning more about US presidents and that kind of stuff. It's not like, you know, my mom went into the school and was like, "You're teaching my kid too much." It's actually stupid. Like, it's actually stupid. I don't understand why we're thinking it's dangerous for kids to know too much, to be smarter. Sounds like the old generation is getting scared that kids are getting too smart. Okay, this is it's not really a phrase, but it's like a good, it's for the same topic of the video. When introducing an enby or like a non-binary person, don't make it all about pronouns. Pronouns are a natural thing, and most enbys don't want their whole identity based around their pronouns. So this is a big thing too. A lot of people think that a non-binary people are obsessed with their pronouns and that's their whole identity. It's actually the opposite. Most non-binary people don't really want to bring up their pronouns, you know? It kind of sucks to have to bring up your pronouns. So what I would say is, in a situation where, you know, you have a friend and you're like, hey, this is my friend John. Instead of being like, hey, this is my friend John, they use they, them pronouns, please respect it, that kind of stuff or whatever. Instead, be like, hey, this is my friend John. They're so awesome. And then maybe when John goes to the bathroom, go up to your other friend and be like, just so you know, John uses they, them pronouns. Like, I was just like letting you know. Then it's not a huge fucking deal. You know, it's not a huge thing. They know about the pronouns now, but it's not like, you know, you outed them with this whole thing about how they use pronouns or whatever and made it like a big deal. Keep it on the DL, you know? Like, pronouns should be on the DL and just use them respectfully. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a huge thing, right? Obviously, if you're in like a queer community or a queer event or something, that's a whole different story. People will just say their pronouns up front, which is really cool. But in like day-to-day life where it's not like a queer community thing going on or whatever, it's just like day-to-day life, you know, people don't want their pronouns to be their main thing that comes with their identity, right? So that's good to know. Oh, this is a good one. Not every trans person wants to talk about trans topics. I get this a lot. It's like, some people I can't have a regular conversation with because all they want to do is bring up trans things and try to debate me on it. I don't care what your opinion is, dude, you know? Like, for example, you know, I'll have people be like, I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm transitioning. I've been on hormones for like 2 years. And they'll be like, oh, what? Like, isn't that like dangerous? And it's like, dude, I'm a transgender. I've done my research. It's the same concept as someone who might be on like antidepressants or anxiety medication. It's the same concept as someone who's on other prescriptions. Obviously, there's risks to every single kind of medication. I've looked them up. I've researched them. I know about them. I don't need you trying to debate me on, oh, what I'm doing is dangerous because that's what you think. It's not like, you know, you go up to someone who, let's say someone who's on like, you know, blood thinning medication or just like any medication in general, and then go up to them and be like, whoa, isn't that like dangerous though? Like, yeah, I know that. I know it's dangerous. Or like someone on antidepressants, like, oh yeah, like, but doesn't that like mess with like, you know, your mental states? Like, yeah, I know all the effects. Like, I don't want to talk about this all the time, you know? And I feel like a lot of people, they have this thing where like, if they find out that you're trans, all they want to do is talk about trans stuff. A big one, for example, as well, was a couple of months ago, and it was big about the trans athletes thing because, you know, one trans athlete won, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, this shouldn't be a thing. And I'm like, oh, well, been a thing since 2004, but that's a different topic for a different video. A lot of people would try to bring that up with me. They'd be like, oh, well, you know, I love trans people, but, like, I just don't understand, like, the whole, like, you know, trans women, like, you know, participating in women's events. Like, I don't understand why we're letting men into women's events. And it's like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to talk about this, man. I know you have a different opinion on it. Like, all you're trying to do is you're trying to debate me because you think I have a strong opinion on this and you want someone to debate on this. But in the end, you know, I thought we were just getting nachos and watching the game. Like, I don't want to debate this stuff with you right now. So that's another thing too. Unless a trans person actually brings up the topic, they probably don't want to talk about trans stuff. And yeah, that's really about it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to join my Patreon, join my channel here if you want to support the channel even more. Join my Discord server. And yeah, follow me on Instagram at SamDowney44. Follow me on TikTok as well. And subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. And really, yeah. Catch you guys next time. Peace!